Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Excellency, Dr. Adina Kamaruddin, the Ambassador of Malaysia to the Republic of Germany. Mark Dunford, the Director General of this Cultural Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. Excellencies, I can see that Excellency from Brunei Darussalam, Pangeran Hajah Kartini, as well as Haji Kamaruddin. I wish to acknowledge also the presence of my deputy, Dato Sebastian Ting. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, my name is Abdul Karim. Been introduced just now. Probably you all might be wondering, where is this Sarawak? Well, Sarawak is in the state of Borneo. Borneo is just the third largest island in the world, actually. Very near to Singapore. It's only 1 hour flight from Singapore. It is in the state. Sarawak is part of Malaysia. Malaysia was formed in 1963 with 4 regions merging together. One of it was West Malaysia or Malaya. The other one is Sarawak. Another state is the state of Sabah. And the fourth one, you would be surprised, is Singapore. Singapore was part of us. We formed Malaysia in 1963. 2 years later, Singapore left, and that leaves 3 of us, 3 regions that makes up Sarawak now. Sarawak is the largest state in Malaysia with a landmass area of 124,000 square kilometers. It's very rich in resources. The Malaysian economy practically relies quite a lot on us. Almost half of the Malaysian economy comes from the state of Sarawak. It's very, very rich in its diversity, but population-wise, it's very, very small. The population of Sarawak is only 2.8 million. It's very, very small. It has got a very interesting history, actually. In the year 1839, there is this adventurer from United Kingdom by the name of James Brooke. James Brooke, he came down sailing from Singapore down to Borneo. And at that time, there was some feud among the indigenous people in Sarawak. And he was able to settle the feud. And at that time, Sarawak was part of Brunei Darussalam, actually. Brunei was quite big. The influence of Brunei goes up to southern Philippines, down to Sarawak. And because James Brooke, a white man, actually, able to resolve the problems between the natives in Sarawak, he was asked to be the Raja or the king of Sarawak. And he stays on, him and his family stays on for more than 100 years. So if you are to see, Sarawak history is quite unique. Most of those Westerners, I would say, those who come into the East, or those who come into South America, they face problem with the local, the indigenous people. But somehow, this Brooke family was quite well accepted, into Sarawak. And he was the one who brings in religion. He was the one who brings in education. I'm one of the product of that because the school system in Sarawak is based on the British system. The administrative system is also based on the British system. Well, that is how it gets to be developed. And in 1963, as I mentioned just now, Sarawak, another region which was also part of the British colony before, Sabah, and Malaya, together with Singapore, they merged to form what we call Malaysia today. Well, Sarawak has got 31 different indigenous groups. It's very, very rich in culture, very, very rich in... When you have got 31 different races, ethnicity, so you will be having a real melting pot of culture. We are very, very rich in culture. We are very proud of that. Even the way of life, some of them, and even the way they build up their houses are different. There are those who live by the sea, there are those who live by the river, there are those who live in the highland areas of Sarawak. And each one of these races have got its own unique and diverse cultures, outlook, even the way they dress, the way they prepare their food, they are different. So these are the ones that we have been trying to preserve. Apart from that, Sarawak is very rich in its nature. The largest cave in the world, I would say, Mulu Cave, where one of its chamber, called the Sarawak Chamber, can fit in 40 jumbo jet, or 40 747. You can imagine how huge that chamber is. It's located in Sarawak, and Mulu Cave is one of those that UNESCO has given its accreditation as a World Heritage Site. And apart from that, another one is on the way, the Nia Cave, which we have already submitted to UNESCO, and we have got quite good feedback. I believe within this year or probably next year, we have already submitted the dossier to UNESCO, and it should be recognized as another World Heritage Site for the state of Sarawak. Other things that we have an extensive area of destination based on 5 pillars. That is culture, adventure, nature, food, and festival. The land, our sacred bird is the hornbill. We call it the land of the hornbill has a rich and diverse ecosystem for adventurers to explore, including, as I mentioned just now, the UNESCO Heritage Site, Mulu National Park, famous for its limestone formation and some of the most remarkable caves on earth, like the Sarawak Chamber, the one that I mentioned just now, which can fit 40 Boeing 747 aircraft. For those looking to reflect upon ancient history, the one I also mentioned, Nia Cave, has got human habitation for the last 65,000 years. Nia National Park, where the Nia Cave is sited, is said to become another precious gem in Sarawak Natural Treasure Trove. As I mentioned, the dossier for that park has been submitted to UNESCO, and just before we came down to ITB Berlin, we have got the feedback that it will be given to us hopefully this year. Our diverse ethnic heritage has made food culture, as I mentioned, when you have got 31 different ethnicity, food culture in Sarawak very rich and diverse, which is how our capital city, Kuching, the capital of Sarawak is called Kuching, earned its UNESCO Creative City Network title for gastronomy in the year 2021. Some of our must-try authentic dishes, we have got many types of dishes. Some are cooked in bamboos, some are from the wild, fern. So much so that one celebrity chef from France, actually, the late Anthony Bourdain, probably you might have heard of him, the late Anthony Bourdain. He loves to come to Sarawak. He came down 3 times just for one type of food, our laksa, our special laksa, which he called food which is breakfast for the Lord. That is how the late Anthony Bourdain described our laksa. Well, Sarawak has also a rich tradition of art and craft. Each ethnic group has its own material culture and craft tradition, and a diverse range of motif and design in the form of textile, fibers, ceramic, and wood. Actually, the attire that I'm wearing today, the design is from one of the indigenous tribe in Sarawak. That is why in the year 2019, Kuching, our capital city, was awarded by the World Craft Council as the World Craft City status. The only city in Malaysia that was awarded that World Craft City status by our World Craft Council. Events and festivals have been regarded as excellent travel motivators to attract visitors. Sarawak highly relies on events and festivals to further establish its image as a cultural destination, among others, and has always expanded event tourism as part of its important tourism attraction. Okay, probably some of you might have heard of Rainforest World Music Festival. It's quite famous to Europeans, especially to Germans, those from Germany, because we do have those who come for this music festival over and over again. This year is going to be the 26th year of this Rainforest World Music Festival. It's going to be held on the 23rd and 25th of June 2023. In the spirit of sustainability, Sarawak Tourism Board, the one that is behind Rainforest World Music Festival, has taken bold steps to enable visitors and hosts to ensure sustainability is addressed and maintained, recognizing that festivals have massive carbon footprint and the fact that waste generated has one of the most prominent environmental impact. Proactive measures have been taken towards creating and implementing a sustainable, eco-friendly festival for the Rainforest World Music Festival. Okay. To visualize what Sarawak has to offer, we will present our... Are we presenting the video today? Oh. We will present our destination video called Sarawak, Now More Than Ever. It is an invitation to travelers that we are open and ready to receive you, whether you are a first-time visitor or a repeat visitor. After such a long wait, it's because of the pandemic, it's the right time for you to take a plunge and discover for yourself Sarawak hidden gem and take the path less trodden and savor our gastronomy delights along the way. Reflecting on what has happened over the last 3 years, it is reassuring to see that the tourism industry has shown great resilience and adaptability in the face of adversity. We have now seen how the industry has transformed, adapting to new realities and trends to stay relevant. Well, my Ministry of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Art see tourism recovery in Sarawak to continue into 2023. Before COVID hits us in 2020, 2020, March 2020. We have our lockdown on March 18 in Malaysia, where everything was stopped, March 18, 2020. Before that, in the year 2019, the number of visitors that visited Sarawak was 4.6 million. It plunged in 2020, 2021, 2022, we recovered back slowly but surely. We opened our borders on the 1st of April 2022. I still remember that. And we have a very conservative target in 2022. We just placed 1.2 million number of visitors for 2022. However, by 31st of December 2022, the number of visitors, foreigners, as well as those from the other parts of Malaysia that come into Sarawak, hit 2.02 million. So it was quite heartening for us. There was an increase of more than 800,000. For the year 2023, we have bring the number of our target to 3 million. And January 2023 was quite promising. The number was 319,000. So we believe by December this year, we should be able to hit that 3 million target. I'm very, very positive about this because the number of flights, the number of events that we are organizing way back home in Sarawak, we should be able to bring that number of visitors, 3 million visitors into Sarawak with the kind of tourism products that we have. Well, Europe has been part of our traditional focus market, and Germany ranked the second largest number of tourists that has been coming to Sarawak all these years. The first one, of course, is from United Kingdom. Our participation in ITB Berlin is part of Sarawak Tourism Board's marketing strategy, where we have our own pavilion for the first time to showcase Sarawak's wonders. The recent, for those who are from Germany, 3 weeks ago, the President of Germany, Excellency Frank-Walter Steinmeier, came down to Sarawak. He wanted to see what we have to offer. I was the minister in attendance for him and his lovely wife. I was hoping to bring him to the museum because the museum that we have in Sarawak is the largest museum in Malaysia and the second largest in Southeast Asia, actually. I love museum. That's why this morning I visited Bode Museum. I love museum. And we've got lots of museum in Sarawak. However, Excellency, the President does not want to go and visit our museum, partly because of time. If he's given a few more days or another day, probably he would have visited our museum, because our museum is something which we are very, very proud of. It was only officiated in March the 4th of 2022. By December, more than 600 visitors, more than 600,000 visitors visited the museum. It's a must-visit place if you are to come down to Sarawak or visit the capital. So, back to the Excellency, the President, he visited 2 places. One was our Ramsar wetland, which is just 20 minutes. If you are to see the capital of Sarawak, Kuching, all around the fringe are all national parks, all around. Sarawak has the most national parks in Malaysia. There are 60 national parks in the state of Sarawak. Why we love to gazette areas as national parks? Partly because that is a good way to preserve, to conserve those places. The moment it's being gazetted as a national park, the animals that are in those national parks could not be killed. The trees that we have in those national parks could not be chopped down. So in a way, it's good for nature. It's good for nature. That's why we have got so many national parks. So the president visited one of the national parks, which is the Ramsar Wetland Park. The other place that he visited was our orangutan sanctuary. Orangutan has been mentioned, and probably you might not know. What is orangutan? Orangutan is a primate. It is another form of monkeys, but can be very, very huge. It can be huge. It can be 3 times my size. There is a sanctuary, orangutan sanctuary. A lot of the orangutan in Sarawak lives in the wild, but those that sometimes some of these indigenous people, they might have kept them as pets. If we come to know, we'll bring those orangutan and place them in this sanctuary until they have get themselves acclimatized with the situation, then they will be released to the wild. So we've got about 30 plus orangutan in that sanctuary. The good part about COVID, not everything about COVID is bad, you know. The pandemic, where there was a total lockdown, even visitation to the sanctuary was not allowed. That 2 years of lockdown somehow leave the orangutan at peace, and 3 of them conceived. We have 3 babies from this orangutan within that two years, and we are very, very happy with what is happening, and we do hope that this orangutan will keep on conceiving, so the numbers will multiply more. Well, in 2021, Sarawak became the first region in Malaysia to join the Global Destination Sustainability Index for Tourism and Business Event via the GDSI Partnership Program. The journey will continue with Sarawak part to get accreditation for having sustainable policies and practices in place. Well, I'm coming to the end. We are excited to welcome back more visitors from this part of the world. We are also quite excited to welcome those from China. China has closed its border. It's only recently that China has opened its border, and I'm very, very sure with the close proximity of Malaysia and China, I believe this year, next year, there will be lots more Chinese tourists coming down to our shows. In conclusion, I invite all of you to come and discover Sarawak and experience the 5 tourism pillars, that is culture, the one that we are really advocating: culture, adventure, nature, food, and festival. We are very, very much unspoiled. Our rivers are very much unspoiled. Our jungle are very much unspoiled. Our caves and our nature, our rainforest is very, very much unspoiled. We promise you that you will have an unforgettable journey filled with new adventures, cultural discoveries, and moments of relaxation and tranquility once you are in our state. Without further ado, let us all enjoy our new destination video shortly. Sarawak, now more than ever. Thank you.